Most people think introverted, intuitive, feeling, judging personality types pull back because they're struggling or antisocial. They are wrong. Your solitude is not a weakness. It is a strategic weapon. Your mind processes social dynamics like a supercomputer, analyzing data and predicting outcomes before others even see the warning signs. INFJs who master the art of strategic withdrawal aren't running away from people. They're weaponizing their most significant cognitive advantage. Today, we expose the calculated intelligence behind INFJ withdrawal. By the end of this video, you'll understand why your pattern recognition makes solitude a calculated power move rather than an emotional avoidance. Before we start, please hit the like button, comment, and subscribe so you won't miss any of our weekly deep dives into the world of personality types. And if you are looking to achieve a deeper understanding of yourself and your personality type, click the link in the comments to take our favorite free personality test. The pattern recognition advantage. Here's where INFJs operate on a completely different level than everyone else. Your dominant function, introverted intuition, doesn't just participate in social interactions. It also influences your approach to them. It processes them like raw data, feeding your brain a constant stream of predictions about where relationships are heading. Most people operate on hope and social conditioning. They give others the benefit of the doubt, assume good intentions, and continue to invest energy even when red flags start appearing. But INFJs, your minds are constantly running sophisticated pattern analysis in the background. You meet someone new, and within the first few conversations, your brain has already mapped out the likely trajectory of this friendship. You can sense the person who only reaches out during their personal crises. You recognize the energy vampire who loves having a free therapist but never asks how you're doing. You identify the fair-weather friend who disappears the moment you need support. This isn't pessimism, it's pattern recognition. Your brain has cataloged thousands of micro-interactions, facial expressions, response times, and emotional patterns. When someone exhibits behavior cluster A, your mind instantly recalls the 17 other people who showed identical patterns and how those relationships ultimately played out. The exhausting part isn't the prediction itself, it's the internal conflict that follows. You see the warning signs crystal clear, but your extroverted feeling function pushes you to stay anyway. You think this time will be different, you're being too harsh. If you give more, they'll reciprocate. So, you override your intuitive warnings and continue investing in relationships your pattern recognition has already marked as doomed. You become trapped in this cycle of accurate prediction, followed by deliberate self-betrayal, hoping your analysis is wrong. But here's what changes everything. The moment INFJs start trusting their pattern recognition instead of fighting it. When you finally accept that your prediction accuracy rate is somewhere around 90%, you stop seeing withdrawal as giving up and start seeing it as strategic intelligence. Think about it this way. If you could predict stock market crashes with 90% accuracy, would you keep investing in companies showing clear warning signs? Or would you protect your assets? Your emotional energy is similar to financial capital, and pattern recognition serves as your early warning system. The friend who only texts when they need something, the colleague who takes credit for your ideas, the family member who guilt trips you into emotional labor. Your intuitive function spotted these patterns months ago. Strategic withdrawal isn't about avoiding people. It's about refusing to ignore data your mind has already processed. This is why solitude becomes the logical response to pattern recognition, not emotional avoidance. When you can see how relationships will unfold before they do, continuing to invest in doomed connections isn't optimism, it's self-sabotage. Your withdrawal is your mind protecting you from predictable disappointment, while conserving energy for connections that match your depth and authenticity. Energy, economics, and resource management. Now let's talk about the hidden economics of INFJ friendships, because this is where most people misunderstand your withdrawal entirely. INFJs don't just give friendship, they provide pieces of themselves. When you invest in someone, you're not just hanging out, you're investing in their future. You're offering deep listening, emotional support, intuitive insights, and genuine care about their well-being. This isn't performative kindness, it's how you're naturally wired. Your extroverted feeling function compels you to tune into others' emotions and respond with authentic concern. You remember details about their struggles. You check in during difficult times. You offer wisdom when they're confused. You're providing professional-level emotional support without getting paid for it. But here's the brutal math that most people never consider. Emotional labor has a cost, and INFJs consistently operate at an energy deficit because the exchange rate in most friendships is completely unbalanced. You give hours of deep conversation and get back surface-level small talk. You provide crisis intervention and receive weekend party invitations. You offer your authentic self and get back social masks. Think of your emotional energy like a bank account. Every deep conversation, every crisis call, every time you absorb someone else's stress, you're making a withdrawal from your reserves. Healthy friendships should involve deposits, too. Moments where others pour into you, ask about your inner world, or simply give you space to recharge without guilt. Most friendships operate on extroverted social styles that favor quick interactions, frequent contact, and group dynamics. These patterns naturally benefit people who gain energy from social stimulation, but they create unsustainable deficits for INFJs who need depth, quiet processing time, and meaningful one-on-one connections. Strategic withdrawal becomes your way of stopping the hemorrhaging. When you recognize that a friendship consistently drains more energy than it provides, you're not being selfish by pulling back. You're practicing basic resource management. Continuing to pour from an empty cup isn't noble, it's self-destructive. The difference between loneliness and intentional solitude becomes crucial here. Loneliness is the painful absence of connection, while intentional solitude is the deliberate choice to recharge and refine one's vision, rather than simply recovering from social exhaustion. INFJs use alone time as active restoration, not passive isolation. During strategic solitude, you're not just hiding from the world. You're reconnecting with your inner guidance system. You're processing experiences without external interference. You're working on creative projects that feed your soul. You're developing the insights and capabilities that make you valuable to the rare individuals who can actually match your depth. This is why breaking the cycle of giving more than you receive requires calculated boundary setting. You start saying no to energy-draining requests. You stop being available 24/7 for everyone else's emotional crises. You protect your prime mental energy for pursuits that actually align with your values and long-term vision. The people who benefited from your unlimited availability won't understand this shift. They'll call you selfish or distant, never recognizing that they were essentially taking advantage of your natural generosity. But the ones who stay, the ones who respect your boundaries and reciprocate your energy investment, those are the connections worth maintaining. The Sigma transformation through solitude. Here's where INFJ withdrawal becomes truly powerful. Solitude isn't retreat. It's where you develop your most sophisticated insights and capabilities. When you stop managing everyone else's emotions and start focusing on your own growth, something remarkable happens. You begin operating like what psychologists call a Sigma personality. Independent, self-directed, and immune to social validation. The creative and intellectual breakthroughs that emerge during strategic solitude are no accident. Your introverted intuition function needs quiet space to process complex patterns and generate original insights. When you're constantly responding to other people's needs, your mind never gets the deep focus time required for genuine innovation. Think about the greatest INFJ visionaries throughout history. They didn't create their masterpieces during busy social periods. They developed their revolutionary ideas during extended periods of solitude. Your withdrawal isn't antisocial behavior. It's the necessary condition for accessing your highest cognitive potential. During intentional solitude, you stop performing the social scripts that drain your authenticity. You reconnect with your core values without external pressure to compromise. You develop unshakable confidence in your own judgment rather than seeking constant validation from others. This internal strengthening is what transforms withdrawal from defensive behavior into a strategic advantage. Quality connections require you to first master being alone with yourself. When you're comfortable in solitude, you stop settling for friendships based on convenience or a desire to avoid loneliness. You develop clear standards for what a genuine connection looks like, and you're willing to wait for people who can meet those standards rather than settling for whatever's available. Strategic solitude also attracts the rare individuals who match your depth and authenticity. When you're not desperately seeking social approval, you naturally filter out people who try to simplify you, instead appreciating your complexity. You become magnetic to other deep thinkers who recognize quality when they see it. The confidence shift is profound. You transition from needing validation to recognizing your worth independently of others. You stop explaining yourself to people who don't have the capacity to understand you. You use alone time to build the life that naturally attracts compatible people, rather than trying to force connections with incompatible ones. This is the Sigma transformation. You become self-contained not because you don't value connection, but because you refuse to compromise your authenticity for the sake of social acceptance. You operate from internal motivation rather than external pressure. You choose quality over quantity in every area of life, not just friendships. Your instinct to choose solitude over superficial connections isn't antisocial behavior. It's sophisticated intelligence in action. When you trust your pattern recognition, protect your emotional resources, and use alone time for personal development, you're not withdrawing from life. You're positioning yourself for the authentic connections you actually want. Subscribe for more insights on leveraging your INFJ traits as strategic advantages. If you want to continue the journey to understanding yourself or an INFJ in your life, click either of the following videos, where we continue to unlock the secrets of the INFJ personality type.